Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, a certified financial educator, and we are in the building today on the last day that we're going over the law of reflection. It's Fan Friday. You know what that means, guys. It means you get the chance to hop into the seat. You get a chance to share your experience with us. And we want to thank you so much for just tuning in each and every day of this week, man. Hopefully it's been a time that you can reflect. Hopefully it's been a time that you have grown, because that's what we're doing, guys. We are daring you to grow. We're daring you to grow. So we're going through the 15 laws of invaluable growth by John C. Maxwell. 15 laws. And we started out with, we're on law number 4. So law number 1 was the law of intentionality, basically saying, hey, you need to know where you want to go. Law number 2 was the law of awareness, basically saying, hey, you need to know who you're hanging around. You need to know about your surroundings. You need to know who it is that you are following. Law number 3 was the law of the mirror. Hey, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Hopefully you see greatness. Hopefully you see awesomeness. Hopefully you see phenomenal. What do you see when you look in the mirror? And then we're on law number 4 today, and we're closing this out. Law number 4, the law of reflection. We want to take, it's called the power of the pause. We want to take a moment to reflect on our day, reflect on us as a whole, where we are mentally, spiritually, physically. Reflect, capture the moments that you have in your life. And so we've been kind of on this trend of talking about not being frustrated, but being fascinated with the people that we come across each and every day. Like, just be fascinated by those people that don't take action, those people that refuse to grow, those people that don't want to change for their own good. Don't be frustrated. Be fascinated. Because here's the deal, guys. We can just keep planting seeds, and eventually, the harvest will grow. So thanks so much for tuning in. Does anybody want to jump in any seats this morning? They are open. Law of reflection. Now, what I wanted to do today is wanted to just finish up. We had some personal awareness questions that we wanted to ask. We started this on Wednesday, and then we kind of just went off script, but that's okay. We can come back today, and hopefully some of these questions you can ask yourself, and you can assess your own personal space where you are in life. And so we do have our co-host, Mr. Patrick, here with us today. He's got the nice little SEO stuff up going on over there. Say hello to everybody, Pat.
Hello, everybody. On my camera.
There's some good stuff here. He's over there. I don't know. He's just playing. I don't know what he got. Pat is like the tech king over there. So you guys ever need any help or advice, you need to reach out to Pat. Are you building that website? You need some things to function. Reach out to Pat, man. He can help you out. At least he leads you in the right direction. If not, go ahead and do it for you. Pat. Oh, there he is. I got to learn how to do that stuff, man. No, I'm not. I'm not going to take the time to learn. I'll just pay somebody to do it. That is not my area. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Wonderful.
Pat, where's the cup, man? Where's the mug?
Where's the cup? I knew the cup was coming, right? Let me minimize that. So this morning, we're climbing new heights.
Pikes Peak. All right, guys. So we said we're going to kind of finish up on our personal awareness questions. And so the first question that was asked, and this was back on Wednesday, you might have forgot by now, but the first question was, what's your biggest asset? What's your biggest asset? That was a question you asked yourself, and this is your greatest strength. And it's not talking about your body parts. It's talking about your personality, who you are, your biggest asset. What is attractive about you other than your shape? What is attractive about you? And then the second question that goes along with that, when we recognize our biggest asset, we also want to understand and recognize what's our biggest liability. What's that thing that's a kind of a shortcoming for us in our life? Well, we all have some areas that we can improve upon. So we recognize our biggest asset, but then you want to recognize what's your biggest liability. You want to be aware of your liabilities, because sometimes these things creep up at the most inopportune times. And I know for me, the other day I was in a meeting, and one of my biggest assets is my passion, my ability to just be raw and uncut. But actually, that's also one of my biggest liabilities, because sometimes I just don't know when to turn it off. And so we was in a meeting. I just went in and did what I do. And then 3 days later, I was getting a call saying, hey, we need you to slow down a little bit. And I'm like, hey, this is what you get when you get ERGJ. This is part of the ERGJ experience. But there is a time and a place for everything. And so I definitely understood where they were coming from. I would let them know what my position was and let me know what their position was. And we did a kumbaya hug. But there is a time and a place for everything. So that not only was that my biggest asset, but it also happens to be one of my biggest liabilities. Pat, man, you got any biggest liabilities that you're aware of that you constantly just kind of constantly like, yeah, I need to check that. I need to check that.
Well, I mean, we all have weaknesses to work on. We all have things to work on. And I think the biggest thing we have to consider is where to put our focus. And if we're focusing on things we can do instead of focusing on our weaknesses, I think we do better. So, today, like I said, my mission today is to climb new heights. It's not necessarily to focus on where I'm missing, because what I'm missing will be provided. If I go out and help others, then what I need will be provided.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep focusing on the thing that you know that you can do. And that'll take care of the things that you can't do. So the third question, guys, the third question is, what's my highest high? What's my highest high? And this is kind of looking over your life and seeing where is it in your life that you get your fullest, where you thrive the most, where you get your fullest sense of joy, your fullest sense of accomplishment, your fullest sense of love, your fullest sense of movement. What is your highest high? Where do you find your highest high to be? This is important for you to recognize as well, because whenever you might get to a place of being low, you know where you can go to get back to being high again. And so I said the other day, I had dropped down from my 100 and I came to a place and I was able to get some help to get back to my 100. So what is your highest high? That's the third question you want to ask yourself, so that you can be aware of where you need to go when you're down in the dumps, when you're down in the pits, when you're a little fascinated with people, or maybe you're just in this space where you need to just regroup and get back to being your best self. What's your highest high? And of course, along with that question comes that second question that says, hey, what's your lowest low? And this is one of those questions that we may not want to face, but I think it's important to face it, because I think there's certain places, there's certain times, there's certain thoughts that we have, and we know that we have them, that bring us to a place of stress or a place of depress. And so it's important to kind of recognize, man, where am I? Don't do it when you're low, but do it when you're high. And just ask yourself, man, when am I the lowest? What place, what stage, what mentality, what am I thinking about when I get to this low point? Because it really, when we talk about emotional stuff, it all has to do a lot with what we're thinking about, right? So if you got some things that have happened in your life, and maybe you hear a song that comes on, and it could take you to a place of exaltation, or it could take you to a place where you're crying. You remember something that happened with this song that played. What's your highest high? But also, what's your lowest low? Pat.
And for me, they both seem to pivot on the same thing, which is kind of interesting. And that's why it's important to be the fascination side of it, not the frustrated side of it. And it always seems to deal when I'm dealing with others, the ones that just don't get it. And then when the one finally does, and when the one finally, it does click with somebody, when you're trying to see and connect, and it finally clicks, I mean, that's the highest high for me.
Yeah.
When it finally clicks with somebody else. And like you said earlier, you just keep planting seeds. Well, to follow that analogy out, the original understanding of that is that you plant Apollos waters. It may grow later. You may not be around when God makes it grow.
Yeah.
All the seeds you plant now, you may not see all those trees. I mean, how long does it take the bamboo tree to grow? You plant the seed, and 5 to 6 years later, it grows 90 feet in 90 days. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually had one of those moments yesterday. You guys, in case you guys don't know, I went and talked to the kids at the high school yesterday, and it was a very fascinating experience. But when you reach that one kid that you pull over to the side and you had a conversation with, and he's looking at you dead in the eye, and you speaking into his life, and he's taking it from you, that's that one thing, you got it, and you are going to be awesome and great. That one kid, all it takes is one. Out of all of the 99 I probably talked to, that one that I was able to have that conversation with, and I could see the light bulbs going off in his life. That was it. That's all I needed to remember from yesterday. And then obviously when I got home, I got another message from another kid just out of the blue, and that helped reinforce and help me get my energy back, guys. Because I don't know if you've ever gone to talk to a crowd, but I talked for 5 hours yesterday, 4 periods of class. That's pretty draining. I mean, there's a lot of energy going out when you are speaking to people and trying to speak into their life and trying to connect with them and understand where they are in life. Obviously, I've been a high schooler, obviously, so I get it. But we're trying to pull them up and not necessarily just be at their level. You're trying to get to their level and pull them up. So very, very fascinating experience. Got a lot of work to do in this space. But, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. All right, so the fifth question, guys, you want to ask yourself, what is your most worthwhile emotion? And then that goes along with number 6. What is your least worthwhile emotion? And in this particular case, he's saying, hey, the most worthwhile emotion for him is love. And that may be the case for just about everybody here. And he also said his most least worthwhile emotion has been self-pity, not seeing himself the way that he should see himself. And I would agree that love is my most worthwhile emotion. I think love fuels all the other emotions for me. Now to my most least wild emotion, I don't know. I'm not a very emotional type of guy, so it's going to take me a while to figure that out. I just don't tap into my emotions very often, but they're there. I just don't have a name for them. Pat.
Well, and I would tweak mine a little differently. I think my most worthwhile emotion is when I'm in a state of joy, and I get to that state. And like you said, you were at school yesterday. One of my previous lives, I actually taught trade school, and I used to teach 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night. And in the 4 hours in the middle of the day, I ran my heat and air company. So it was a long day. And like you said, you can lose your fascination pretty easily trying to teach people who you wonder why they're even there, because they're just passing time. And I was teaching adults, or so I was told they were adults.
Yeah.
I always have a problem with children who are older than me. I don't know why. So, but and the least the least worthwhile emotion, like I said, I think that's when you get to the point of frustration, or at least for me, it's that point of frustration, because then all the negative emotions start. Start blaming, and you start pointing fingers, and and it's just like I said, the point of frustration to me is the most negative thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I got to the point where you start.
Why am I doing this?
Start wondering and all this good stuff, but thank God we got a network like this. You just pull us back in, bring it on in, Pete, bring it on in. So again, we're going through some questions of self-awareness, just kind of get through that stage of growth where we are challenging you to grow. And I think some of the best ways that you can grow is by asking yourself these questions and actually answer them for yourself. Feel free to drop them in the comments below. Feel free to jump into a seat. If you got something to say about any of these questions, you want to share from your experience, because your experience could actually help someone else. That's just how it happens. That's what it is. So here's the deal. The 7th and the 8th question that we're on, and then we'll have 2 more questions, is what is your best habit and what is your worst habit? Now, we got to be real about this, guys. I mean, like, what is your best habit and what is your worst habit? I think people actually owning up to their worst habit is very difficult for many people to do, to like let the world know or let people know, like, yeah, this is a bad habit of mine. We always got to keep that in the secret. Like, we got to keep that in the closet. But what's your best habit and what's your worst habit? And I think for many of us, I would say when I was thinking about this, when I was reading this yesterday, I was like, you know what? One of my worst habits, and I'm going to talk about one of my worst habits, is I guess it's impatience. I don't know what it is, but I just know that when people they say, hey, let's meet at 1:00, and I'm preparing myself to meet them at 1:00, and then they call me at 1:15 like they're going to be late, and I immediately be like, we're not meeting, because my time is too valuable, and it's always like my time is valuable when it's on my time. But when my time is on someone else's time, I don't value their time. And I completely just don't even meet them. Hey, listen, we'll get together some other time. You clearly didn't value my time to let me know that you was late, or you're going to be late at 1 o'clock or 12:45 or something, so I can make some adjustments with my day, and I can use my time more wise than sitting in traffic trying to meet you. That's why I do a lot of my meetings online now, by the way, because I just have I don't know if that's impatience or I don't know what that is. Whatever that word is, that's one of my worst habits. Because come on. We all grown adults. I know stuff happens. I know, but for some people, stuff happens all the time. and then I don't know. My best habit, I think my best habit is just my determination, my will to win. Overanalyze. You overanalyze. Okay, I get it. It's good and it's bad. Sometimes your best and your worst are the same because you operate out of that strength. And then if you operate it at the wrong times, it could be the worst. What about you, Pat?
Well, I took a class years ago from Franklin Quest on time management. And one of the things I learned by going through that class was when you got their book and you started keeping track of what you did throughout your day, stuff that you put on your list to do that you didn't do, you would arrow forward to the next day. And they basically said, if you have arrowed forward the same thing 7 to 10 times, stop lying to yourself. You ain't going to do it. You ain't doing it, right? You're procrastinating. Stop lying to yourself. You're not going to do it. So if you know that you're not going to do it, then find another way. Assign it to somebody else. Pay somebody else to do it. Whatever, but realize that you're not doing it. That's why you keep putting it off.
Hey.
So stop putting it off. Assign it to somebody else. And that was one of the most valuable things I got from that class was I was putting things off over and over and over and over. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and I think we need to stick on this for a second because there's many people, and probably a lot of people here that have this issue. And I think some things you just shared can help them correct that issue of procrastination. It's not that they don't want it done. It's just that they don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it.
And especially, and I want to talk about this for a second because we got a lot of people that are here that are entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, people that want to run their own business. I know who I attract into my life. I attract who I become. So I know we got a lot of those here. And here's the deal, guys. When you're an entrepreneur, you pretty much, or even if it's not an entrepreneur, if you're a single mom, if you know what I mean? Like there's some stuff that's like, I got to do everything. You feel like that way at all the time, right? Like, I'm going to talk about single moms for a second. I'm not talking about them, but I'm saying maybe you're the person that does all of the stuff in the house. You do all of the cleaning. And I had a single mom like this that I was dating. And I said to her, man, you got an 11-year-old son. You haven't assigned him any chores to do in the house. You're cleaning the whole house. Well, how is he taking ownership to the house that he's living in if he doesn't have to clean the bathroom or he doesn't have to sweep? He doesn't have to take the trash out. So sometimes,
you're not dating her anymore.
No. I'm just using that as an example to say that there could be things that you're doing that you really don't want to do or things that you're putting off because eventually you're going to get to them that you literally have people that you could assign them to, that you could hire someone to do, that you could get some help with. I know for me, like I got a book that's going to come out of me at some point in time, but I really don't want to write a book. Just don't want to write one. Just not a desire of mine. And everybody keep prompting me to write one, but that's just not a desire of mine. So eventually it'll come, but it's not on the top priority of my list of things to do because I'm busy creating my curriculum and all that stuff. A book will come. A book is in me. I got the title. I got a couple chapters, but I ain't writing it. I can tell you that. It ain't going to write. I might have to pay someone to listen to me and they write it, but I'm not writing it.
Hire a ghostwriter.
Yeah, a ghostwriter.
Just hire a ghostwriter and do the tape recording, digitally record it, send it over to the Philippines, have her type it.
Yeah.
You can hire a ghostwriter in the Philippines for $2 an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's going to have to happen because it ain't going to get written by me. I can tell you that.
And if you need help doing that, let me know because I hire people in the Philippines from time to time.
Absolutely.
So I believe that. So we didn't go to your best habit.
My best habit? I did. I said my best habit is my will to win, my determination.
Oh, okay. You determined. Okay. See, I should pay attention, I guess.
So somebody said overanalyze their attention to detail. I don't know what boondoggle is. I guess I don't know what that is. I never heard that word. I gotta Google that. Is that a word? Is that in the dictionary?
It's a word. It's a Southern word.
It's a Southern word. Oh, okay. What is boondoggle? Is that doodling? I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. Maybe I don't need to know what it means. Any rate. At any rate, so we want to recognize our best habit. We want to recognize our worst habit, right? Obviously, we want to focus on our strengths, but we need to be aware of our weaknesses at the end of the day, because those are areas where we can make collaborations. Those are areas that we can hire out. Those are areas that we don't have to keep putting it off. We can get somebody else to do it, and we could grow together and still get the things accomplished and done that we want to get done. We're talking about growth here, guys. We're daring you to grow, so we're daring you to dig deep within yourself to find out who yourself really is. Sometimes we don't do that. We can talk about who everybody else is, but how often do we really talk about who we are? Think about that for a second. It's easy to tell somebody else what their strengths and weaknesses are because you had that connection with them. You've been hanging around them for a while. But then when somebody asks you what's your strengths and weaknesses, you're like, I don't know. And here's the thing. Here's what I tell people when I coach them. I say, hey, here's what you want to ask yourself. What does everybody else say are your strengths and weaknesses? What do you get complimented on from everyone else? What does everyone else say about you? Like, hey, you need to work on this. Like, like for a while, I would not accept that I was sarcastic. I just wouldn't accept it. Like, no, y'all just sensitive. No, you're sarcastic. No, y'all just sensitive. No, eventually I had to accept it. If you hear it from 15 people, you probably got a little sarcasm in you.
So the answer to that is, I don't have an attitude problem. You have a perception problem.
All right, man. So the last 9 and 10, last two questions, guys, you want to ask yourself. You want to have some personal awareness questions. You want to question yourself so that you can grow. Is what is most fulfilling to me? What is most fulfilling to me? What is most fulfilling? And this, and what John Maxwell said, he said his most fulfilling thing to him was communicating with other people. My most fulfilling thing is inspiring other people. That is my most fulfilling thing. When I can help the light come on for someone else, I feel like I'm on top of the world. That is fulfilling to me. What about you, Pat? What's the most fulfilling thing to you?
Right. And that goes back to the worthwhile emotion. When do you feel your best? And again, it's like when they finally get it. When you finally, look at someone and they want to do something, you look at them like, why do you want to spend $1,000 on that ad? You don't even have your own list of customers yet. Well, all these people come through your business and you're not paying attention to who you have, and you want to throw money on trying to get new ones. You start with the basics first. And when the light finally hits them, it's like, oh, maybe I should be watching what I'm doing instead of just throwing money in the toilet. That's kind of when it finally, that's that emotion that happens when they're actually paying attention, they get it. Because too many people, and I'm trying to find my graphic, too many people do things because they get sold on it, but they're not really paying attention to what they're doing. It's really sad.
Absolutely. So guys, what is most fulfilling to you? What is most fulfilling to you? When do you find yourself most fulfilled? And the reason why we want to highlight this is because wherever you find yourself most fulfilled, then I want to say to you, you need to do that more. Let me repeat that again. Where do you find yourself most fulfilled? And then once you determine and you discover where it is that you find yourself most fulfilled, I want to challenge you to do that more, to do it more. So in order for me to inspire more people, I got to get around more people. Pretty simple, right? That's the only way that I can inspire more people is to find more people to inspire. So I have to challenge myself to do it more. I have to challenge myself to get out more. I got to challenge myself to be available more so that I can inspire more people. Why? It's not just for them. It's for what it does for me. It puts joy in my heart. It takes me to another level, in my senses, in my emotions, in the whole core of who I am. So why wouldn't I want to do it more? And so whatever that is for you, why wouldn't you want to do it more? So a lot of times, guys, the life that we live, 99% of the time has nothing to do with money. For some of us, that might be our most fulfilling time, but I don't believe it's the money. I believe it's the chase. Some of us just love the chase, or love the challenge of that next thing that actually brings us more money. But it's the chase, it's the journey, it's the conquering moment that some of us feel. It's not the money itself. Once you get it, you looking for the next challenge. Because that's what it was, the competition for some of us. But what is most fulfilling to you? And then the last question is, what do I prize most highly? What do I prize most highly? And John Maxwell said his values, his faith. And this is a question I got to think about for a second. I didn't get this far in my reading. What do I prize most highly? What do I prize most highly? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this for a second, guys. I really don't have an answer right now. I really don't. What do I prize most highly? Man, that is a good question.
So that brings up the thought, you value where you spend your time, and what you spend your time on, you value. So if you spend 6 hours a day watching TV, that's what you value. You may give lip service to all kinds of things, but if you're spending 6 hours a day watching TV, that's what you value. You value your time in front of the boob tube.
Well, I guess it's easy for me to answer then. Now, I value the kids. I value the next generation. That's where I spend all of my time and spend all of my energy and spend all of our money trying to make sure that we can advance the next generation. That is what I value. I'm willing to die for those kids. That is what I value. What do you value? What is your most pride? What do you prize most highly? And you know what, guys? I don't see many people typing in the chat below. I'm feeling a little funny here. Maybe you guys are reflecting. Maybe this law of reflection really got you thinking about stuff. I don't know, but I don't see too many comments. So I don't know if you guys are here with me. All the peeps here. Nobody jumped in those seats. It's Fan Friday. I'm feeling some other kind of way about this, guys. You guys was with me yesterday. Today is Friday. Are you guys moving along? You busy? What's going on?
Where's your scarf, Rachel?
I know where Kel is on her way down to where we're going to be meeting at, so I know she can't get on. And I see Evan is here. Evangelos is here. This is probably he comes in and checks us out every now and then, but he didn't jump into a seat either. I invited him. I'm not quite sure what's going on today, guys. And we got Michael here, probably his first time here. But hey, anyway, the seats are open if you want to share any experience from anything that we talked about as far as the questions that you want to ask yourself to help yourself grow. To do some reflection on yourself, see where you are, good, bad, indifferent, good strengths and weaknesses, recognize those things and focus on your strengths, but then you can hire or you can get help or you can collaborate in your weaknesses. So this is the law of reflection, guys. This is the last day that we're going through this particular law. And then we move into next week. We start talking about what are we going to be talking about next week? What's law of the law of consistency. Oh, I'm going to have fun with this one. It's going to be the law of consistency. So as you think about the law of reflection, as you think about these questions, these personal awareness questions that you ask yourself, here's the thing here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Is it worth the trouble to go through this process? Is it worth the trouble to go through this process? Is it worth the trouble for you to grow? Now, I want you to think about growth for a second. And what do you think about when you think about growth? Because as you grow, as you become better, then your life becomes better. As you become more attractive, then you attract more to yourself. So there's many of us that we focus on the tangible things instead of the intangible things. And if we focus on growing the intangible things, then we will acquire the tangible things. Let me repeat that again. Too many of us focus on the tangible things instead of the intangible things. If we focus on growing the intangible things, and in some instances you call this the fruit of the Spirit, if you read the Bible. If you focus on the intangible things, then you will attract the tangible things. So if you want more money, then you must become more. If you want better relationships, then you must become more. That is the deal. So when we say we're challenging you to grow, we're challenging you to grow to become your best self so that you can have your best life. Pat, any last words for the peeps?
Well, and not only in business, but in life, all things are relationships. So, excuse me, I guess my throat's going out. So we need to be concerned about people and relationships. And sometimes we have bad relationships, not only with people, but we have bad relationships with money. We have bad relationships with our own self. You know, we if we met ourselves around the corner, we'd be a stranger. So, you know, we need to take this time, and hopefully you guys will be here tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Absolutely. Well, it won't be tomorrow. It'll be Monday because this is Friday, but that's cool. So here's the deal, guys. We've gone through the first 4 laws of the 15 laws of invaluable growth, the law of intentionality, the law of awareness, the law of the mirror, and now the law of reflection. Hopefully this has been a great time this week for you to reflect, and so that you can then also grow from that reflection. We've seen some great things happen this week in our network. I know we got somebody that's working on a big project right now, Mr. Beatles. We talked to Raz Rising yesterday, who has had an awakening in his trading experience. I recognize that Raquel is back on fire. She's back inspired. She put a proposal together. She's about to have some money coming into her network. Brittany Lee, I know that you just moved. Hopefully you're getting acquainted with where you are. I think you're in Pennsylvania or something like that now. Fantastic. But we've got a lot of growth that is going on in our network. And so we invite you to grow. We dare you to grow, because as you grow and as you give input, as you engage, then that also allows us to engage, right? Because it's a caravan that's going to this place called the promised land, whatever that promised land is for you. But we're all going together, even though we may be traveling in separate carts. We're all in the same band. So someone asked, are there replays? Yes, there are replays. I'll put a link down below that you can get the replays. It's on the YouTube channel. We tape them all. I'll put that down in a second below. So we are here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. 30 minutes to change your day, and then ultimately to change your week, then ultimately to change your month, ultimately to change your year, and ultimately to change your life. And we do that together. I'm putting this link down and below, and then we will sign out. So hopefully everybody has a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Fantastic Friday, phenomenal Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. This is the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. We'll be back Monday at 7 a.m. We'll be here, and the question is, will you bring some friends with you? This is ERGJ, your certified financial educator. And here's what we're saying, guys. We are wealthy, we are healthy, we are happy, and we're out. Have a wonderful weekend.